evening, podcast world. Welcome back to Two for the Road. I'm Aaron, one half of your hosts, and this is
Andy, the other one.
And you can hear him tonight, Stuart, which is great news. I know that you'll be happy with that. You won't have to skip half the podcast this time, brother, as you can hear him tonight. We have tested and made sure. That's mainly because he's not drunk this time, beforehand.
In fairness, it sounded alright the first half, and then we just both sounded underwater for the second half.
He did delete that, which I did not expect. As I thought we were going to keep that half and then re-record the second half, and then Andy deleted it all, so we had to record everything last time.
Yeah, there was a miscommunication there. I just assumed that we would re-record, and Aaron assumed we would go from where we left off here.
And explain.
Yeah.
That we had technical issues.
But yeah, by the time he got to mine, I deleted it, because I thought obviously we were just redoing it.
Well, we're back in Pinkerons, as you can hear, which is great news. We have the ambience, we have the regulars. Dominoes will be out later on, I've no doubt. And yeah,
I missed it.
You missed. Oh, yeah. Andy's trying to catch a fly like Mr. Miyagi right now.
I was using my hand, not chopsticks, though.
So Andy, how was your May?
Pretty good, yeah.
Going to elaborate this time, Andrew? Every time I ask this, it's like drawing blood, fisting.
That's because I never actually think about it before we... I was sat in the bath this afternoon, I was like, right, I'm going to actually think about...
How can we be 7 recordings in?
This is episode 6.
Yeah, 6 recordings in, and I've asked you this question every podcast, and how can you not be prepared for this question coming?
Well, because when I was sat in the bath, I was like, right, I'm going to sit and think about what I've done over the last month and so. But then I stuck Red Dwarf on and ended up watching the entire first series of that.
That's valid, yeah. I can hear that. Red Dwarf's a good show.
Yeah, brilliant show. So yeah, no, I think it was good. What did I do?
I know how you finished it. The last day. Saturday.
Oh, Saturday was the 31st, wasn't it? Saturday was a brilliant day, because of course we had the kilt fitting in the morning.
Yes, we did.
With a few of the guests.
Yeah, we had Graham and we had Martin.
We did, and then me and you had breakfast at the Acorn, which was nice.
Oh yeah, that was a good breakfast.
Yeah. And I actually had a substantial amount of food on my plate for a change.
I'm going to be very honest, right? I have eaten with this man hundreds of times. We go to buffets and they should just charge him a child's rate, because he never ever eats that much.
I don't. My dad's ringing. Hey Dad.
So I've gone out eating with you hundreds of times.
And various takeaways to your various homes.
Yep. And I can vouch here that they shouldn't be charging you adult prices, it should be kids prices, because you basically peck and you don't eat. Like, if you get a takeaway, you leave pretty much 2/3 of the takeaway.
Well, I'll eat it throughout the entire evening, and then I'll still leave half and take half home.
This breakfast, you decided to go with like the extra large full-on breakfast, and I'm sitting there like, there's a small, and you were like, no, it's fine. And for the first time in 20 odd years, you put that bad boy away.
I left the toast, and there was something else that just looked like more toast, but I left that. But I had all the bacon and sausages and eggs.
You put it away.
I didn't have the beans, although I dipped sausage in the beans a couple of times, so I had one or two.
No, I'm
I had black pudding, that was lovely.
Yeah, I was seriously impressed. I had a Miner's Benedict, which was awesome.
Yeah, that looked good, to be fair.
Yeah.
But so we had the breakfast at the Acorn,
and
then we went and picked up Laura and Little R.
Yes, we did.
And went through to Dunfermline for the Robert the Bruce Festival.
Which was amazing.
It really was. And of course we met Alex and Fraser, and their littlest, their youngest.
Yep.
And I had a really good day. And Fraser was saying it was so much, because he went last year, he was saying it was so much bigger than last year. There was loads to do, wasn't there? There was loads.
Jousting, events, games, things like that. The big medieval carnival thing for everyone.
And of course, for me and Fraser, the big history buffs, we got to hold a musket and a broadsword. Yeah, so we were happy.
Horses.
Yeah, exactly. There was loads of stuff to do.
Brownies.
So, fully recommend if you're in Dunfermline about this time next year, I'd imagine it will be.
Yeah.
Then yeah, the Robert Bruce Festival, really good day.
Oh yeah, fantastic. And the vendors and stuff that are there at the start, like we got some amazing cakes, brownies.
Yeah, that was it Kingdom Bakeries or something like that?
Yeah.
They were really nice.
They were awesome.
I actually had my last one today.
Did you?
Yeah.
I did say that. I was like, you got the box of 6, and I was like,
Yeah.
that's going to do a month.
Well, it's done me a week.
Yeah.
So just over a week. But then yeah, on Saturday night as well, I went round to Alex and Fraser's, and they taught me how to play gin rummy.
Nice.
I must have known how to play it because I used to have a board game when I was wee called Rummy Cub,
Uh-huh.
and I think it was basically based off of like gin rummy.
Yeah.
But they taught me how to play it, the actual card game. And the first 2 practice rounds I won, so I clearly picked it up quick. But Fraser ended up winning the whole thing, but only just. I mean, by 1 point he beat me.
Oh.
But that was really good. And then we sat and watched the Champions League final.
Nice.
Me and Fraser came up here for a wee bit, and that was a really good night.
Nice. So the last day of the month was your best day?
I would say so, probably, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Or certainly the best day since we done the last episode, which was only at this point about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I can see that. Wicket started coming with me into work again.
Nice.
So it kind of helps me get my steps in at lunches and stuff, which has been good. I'm doing about 20% more steps a day.
Why did you stop taking them? Because you were taking them in before, were you not?
It kind of gets winter, things like that.
Right.
Just aye. So he's not. Everyone at work is saying the same, that he's nowhere near the same dog he was when we originally went in. That he's getting better, and that's why I said, I'm like, okay, well, he can be the world's second worst dog now.
And now I've finally met him as well.
You've met him now.
Yeah.
What was your thoughts?
He's a nice wee dog, yeah. I mean, obviously Cookie's still my favourite.
Yeah.
Always will be. But, yeah, I like him. Seems
Yes.
pretty cool.
Gets on well
Did
with
try
the girls.
and bite me a couple of times, but not hard or anything. Not like with any malice, just
Yeah.
like Thor and Loki do. Thor's got a thing about whenever he sees me, he's got to have his mouth around my hand. It's like he's making sure I don't go anywhere.
Yeah.
It's like, you're mine, you're here.
Yeah, he's got this reassurance thing with me now as well. I think he thinks we're bonding because I take him to work. I'm like, no,
Which, in fairness, you are.
probably. But I'm like, no, your mum's dog. I'm like, Cookie and Tara are my dog.
Yeah.
Although Cookie does go to Laura more now.
Unless I'm there and then she comes to me.
Yeah, she's aye. It's again, no, dog's getting a little bit older, but no, Wicket's coming in. Obviously, weight loss wise, it's well on the path. I'm now only £28 away from my target. 70, almost £70 lost. I think is that right, or is it more than that? I can't. It's over 5 stone lost.
Yeah.
Over 5 stone in 3 months, and
Which is pretty bloody good going, let's be honest.
yeah, with a 5 stone target in 6 months, and to hit 3 stone in 3 months, you know, we're 5 stone in 3 months. 7 stone target with 3 months to go. Well, 7 stone target with 6 months. And to have hit 5 stone in 3 months is pretty good. So the last 3 months I just have to lose 2 stone to hit that target. But you know,
I'm sure you will.
I'm going to try. I never take anything for granted. The Manjaro's Manjaroing, which is great.
Yeah.
Very much to the best it ever has at this point. I moved up to 10mg, and I've never felt suppression like this ever.
Nice.
Yeah, I can't. It's letting me get on with things. So obviously, my steps are up, my training's up, and in result, obviously, just Saturday there, I saw a £7 loss in 1 week. You know, so it's long may 10mg keep raining.
Yeah.
It's
And is that the highest dose?
no.
Or is there any steps above that to go if you need to?
I can confirm that I could go up to 12 and 15, but for
Right.
the first time ever, I've decided to stay at 10, and I've already bought another 10 that's sitting there. I didn't feel like it was right to move up because I feel like I'm properly
It's
suppressed.
working where it is.
Yeah, whereas I kind of felt like another one's towards the end I was wearing off, so I needed to move up.
Yeah.
Whereas this is still doing its job. So I might find that when I start the second pen on 10, that it's not suppressing me as much, so I will have to move up again. I'm hoping that I've found my level now, and that
Yeah.
I can stay on this for another couple of pence, basically. It'd be nice, but yeah, I'm using a new place. It's actually working out about £40 to £50 cheaper, and their whole thing is that they don't feel like this is something that should be charged at the prices it's being charged at. So they're charging this pharmacy are a family-run business that are actually like, yeah, no, we're charging the sensible prices because everyone should have access to it. So I think it's great because other bigger places that were charging that, they were relying on you getting discount codes and relying on you recommending and things. So you could get it down at those prices, but it meant doing all this other stuff. Whereas these guys are like, no, we just so far they've been brilliant. Ordered another pen from them, so it's Bill has just been phenomenal. Eddie, I'm so fucking proud of him. He's just knocking it out the park at the moment with his weight loss with me.
And I finally met him as well.
Yeah, he did. And Brian's been a huge support from a distance, obviously keeping track of us.
Yeah.
So I've got my wee group of, what I'd say is
cheerleaders.
I call them Let's Fucking Go Warriors, and we just constantly support each other and we keep each other going. So yeah, proud of Eddie. Hope he's on a mesh. He's going to get there. Bill, my brother, just supporting me non-stop, and B, always having my back. So yeah, let's see if that 2 stone comes off over the next 3 months.
Yeah,
or
which I'm sure it will.
If the math's correct, I should be another 3 or 4 at least. So
if it's anything, if the next 3 months are in like the last 3 months, then yeah, definitely.
Even if you add in a 20% reduction, that should still be.
Yeah, still definitely hit the target.
Aye, I should breeze past it and then be working on my boxing target, basically.
Yeah.
So we'll see. It'd be nice to have a little bit of leeway going in after the honeymoon.
Yeah.
Because then obviously I'm going to get my head knocked off on November 8th.
Yeah, which should be fun.
But yeah, for you. For me, I'm sitting there like, why did I do this again? I know why I did it. It's going to keep me motivated when I come back.
Yeah, and as you said, I think the first day of training for it is literally the day you get back from honeymoon, so it's worth it well.
No rest for the wicked.
Yeah. Well, you will have literally just been on a cruise having a lot of rest.
Yeah, and then it'll be 8 weeks of training. It's going to be hard, but obviously if I can get myself in a good position, I'm already physically fitter and I've already got more stamina, so I'm definitely in a better place than I would have been doing it. So we'll see. I'm probably in a better place now to do it than I was even when I was going to do it 6 years ago when it got called off because of COVID.
Yeah.
So yeah, and other times that we obviously have been in the ring before, I'd say again I'm probably more physically fitter now than I was even then. So I'm quietly optimistic that I might not embarrass myself in November 8th.
Yeah.
And I've got Big Bill in my corner, who, by the way, can throw a fucking punch. Like honestly, I was sitting there like I've seen him hit the bag now a few times, and I'm like, oh, Glenrothes' biggest hidden secret, your Bill. But aye, he's there. We've got this. We've had this conversation. So when we start sparring, me and Brian have said to him is that he can't hold his punches. He's got to hit me, and you can kind of see he's a bit reluctant. And I'm trying to explain to him.
Understandably.
Yeah, I'm like, I get it, we're brothers, but you need to hit me. I was like, when we're sparring, you need to hit me because the guy whoever I end up in the ring with,
he's going to hit you.
He's going to hit me.
Yeah.
So I was like, and that's what we're trying to explain to him. I can take a punch. I'll give a punch, but I can take a punch. And Bill doesn't know that part, whereas obviously Brian does, and that's what we're trying to explain to him is hit me.
Yeah.
Because it's been a while since I've sparred, so I'm like, hit me because I need to get myself used to taking a hit again.
Yeah.
And he's not going to do me any favours if he doesn't hit me. So,
true, and obviously I can understand the reluctance from his part. I'd be the same. But yeah, you need
it's not easy
to get
somebody,
over that.
It's not easy hitting somebody that you're friends with.
Yeah, exactly.
And you care about.
Because there's going to be a man in the ring that has no feelings about you one way or the other. So
that's exactly
he's gonna hit you.
Yep.
So yeah, you need to get over that, and I'd imagine it'll be difficult. But hopefully he's able to knock your head off.
Well, no, he fucking can. I've seen him hit. That's what I was trying to explain to him, was the last time that I did this back when I was at Weedy Doors, before it got called off for COVID, was part of the training. I mean, I would go into work and I'd only just started working there, and James would be like, is this really worth it? Because I'd be spitting blood into my bin.
Oh, really?
The day after, because there was a point where you have to stand there with your arms behind your head, and every other person that's doing this will hit you in the stomach. So I took like 20 blows, like square on blows. Now some of those guys, you could tell, are a bit like Bill in this situation where they didn't really want to hit. I was like that, because when I was doing it, I think, but there's a good like 10 to 12 of them in there that took that opportunity to hit you as hard as they could, and doing you a favour, by the way.
Yeah, of course.
But you had going to work and spitting blood into my bin at the time.
I can understand James's question there.
Is it worth it?
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously, I remember having it was 3 or 4 days before we were meant to have it, and just before everything got put in a lockdown, and we had our session and we had all our sparring sessions, and yeah, that was, I got everything I needed at that point. But as time's gone on, obviously there's been friends and family have gone through cancer and things, and I feel like I'm 41, I'm not going to be able to do this again. If I leave it, and I'm never going to be able to go back and do it again. So I want to get that experience one more time, and I want to go back and share it with everyone, people, and be in that ring and do it. I might get my absolute head kicked in. I might die. There's a small percentage, like very small. I mean, somebody died at it last year. I don't plan on dying. Is that I intend to go and raise as much money as I possibly can for charity. I intend to tick another thing off the list that I set a goal that I set myself this last couple of years.
Yeah.
And I want to be 41 and set that off there. I mean, the way it goes is, I know I could throw a punch. I've done it many times before in the boxing ring. Let's go back and do it one more time at 41 and see. If not, I'll get my head caved in by an amateur for the sounds of what happened last year.
Yeah.
The last one. But
which is what turned me off about it. I mean, obviously, I've always wanted to get in the ring. When I was wee, I loved boxing. I've always loved boxing. And when me and Mum still lived up in Arbroath, I was wanting to get into it, but I think my dad was kind of against the idea, and so I never ended up doing it. But it's always been an ambition of mine to get into the ring, and I'm sure I will at some point.
I went to Paul Smith in February. Part of his show was him telling you about how when he did it.
How did he do it?
He actually did the UFC version.
I still know nothing about this guy, by the way, other than his name and the fact that you've been to see him and are going again in a few weeks.
Yep, I'm back to see him in 2 weeks' time. He talks about it, but it was a UFC fight that he did. So it's the same organisation.
Like what Bry does?
Yeah. Same organisation that do it for the boxing, do it for the UFC.
Okay.
And he actually fought the X Factor guy, Jake Quickenden, and it's the funniest story you'll ever hear. Like, he was in the best shape that he's ever been in, thought he was going to give this X Factor contestant his totties, and he got his arse kicked. He got it, like, literally to the point where he tells you about the fight, and then you go, when you finish the show, you go and watch it, and you're like, oh, he got his totties.
Yeah.
Oh, this guy kicked Paul Smith's ass. But in retrospect, it's quite an interesting thing. Is you've got this singer from the X Factor, and you've got this comedian, Scouser, fucking Liverpool.
Is he a Scouser? Don't know why, but I just assumed he was Scottish.
No. And he's a built guy. Like, you know, he's got a build to him, but on top of that, he'd lost a lot of weight. He got in shape and everything for it. So you would sit there and go, you'd put your money on him.
Yeah.
Right. But no, the fucking X Factor singer kicked his ass, and then you look, and then you go look, and you're like, oh, right, okay, that guy's built too. Like,
is he?
Yeah, he's not only that, he's like a fucking specimen. Like, right. He was ready. It's that thing of, maybe you should do your research. But yeah, he tells you the story. Ultimately, I will not know who I'm going to be fighting when I get in that ring on November 8th. But And there's a very good chance that they will give me my toys.
Guess you find out.
I will. Well, I'll be up to the task. Well, we'll find it.
Aye.
So, what's on at the cinema this month?
You're the man to answer that question.
I know I'm away to see How to Train a Dragon live action Tuesday night with Laura and Little R.
Nice.
Should be good. That's it. Like,
Take your word for it.
yeah. No, to be honest with you, I remember watching the animation versions with my son L and daughter S, like when they were younger, and obviously now Little R's a big fan, and Laura likes the movie so much that one of our wedding theme songs might actually have that for coming down the aisle.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So yeah, obviously big movie to her as well. So yeah.
You kind of, if I ever get married, it'll be like a cigarette song or something, probably.
Yeah. And I'm booked in the following week, I think, to go see 28 Years Later, which I am excited about.
Oh yeah, you have been really looking forward to that.
That's a.
Are you and Laura going to see it? Because it's
No, Laura's not going to see that one. So. I'm kind of hyped for that, and then next thing I know we'll be in July, and then we've got a whole weenie of movies, to be honest. Superman and Fantastic Four.
It's Fantastic Four July.
Yeah, it's July 25th.
I thought that was later in the year.
No, end of July.
Nice.
Some really good stuff to look forward to. So, yeah.
I'm looking forward to July because I'm going out to London with Mum.
Yeah, so to be fair, that'll be fun.
Yeah, I can't wait.
So June, and obviously they announced Stranger Things. They did a trailer. So I don't know if you know this. When they did the announcement, they basically announced it was getting split into 3 parts. Now, the first thing, my heart sank because they did this with Cobra Kai and spread it over like six months to a year.
Right.
It was ridiculous. So you got like 5 episodes, and then 5 episodes, and you were sitting there like. It kind of ruined the last season, unfortunately. And then, so they said that with the final season of Stranger Things that they were splitting this over 3 parts. My heart sank. Right, honestly, I was sitting there and I'm like, but what they've done is absolutely, I think, genius in a level. So the first part comes out on the 28th of November this year.
Right.
The second part comes out on Christmas Day, and the final episode is launched on New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve.
Okay.
So I'm like, Kim, what? We don't have long to wait. Like, and I think it's something like 8 episodes. So I think they're doing like 4 and 3 and then 1 or whatever way they're doing it. It's going to work. I don't mind that. Like the fact it's all.
Not sure I've ever seen it, to be honest.
Yeah. No, you'd love it, man. Like
I've heard that. I don't know. I think I mentioned in one of the previous episodes when during the COVID times when we were all doing video calls and stuff, I had a thing on my wall in the living room. It was basically like a line of fairy lights, but it had wee pegs for putting photographs up.
yeah.
And I remember we were doing a video call with like me, Neil, Mike and all that, and Neil had said, "Oh, is that like that thing from Stranger Things?" And I was like, "I have no idea, man, I've never seen it." And he said, "Yeah, apparently it's somebody had something similar in their room on Stranger Things." But he did say at the time that I would like it. Obviously he watched it, and it was him that recommended Orange is the New Black, which was a great series. I remember him saying, actually, when I watched it, when I finally got round to it after he'd recommended it probably about 2 years before I watched it, because that seems to be the way with me. I remember him saying, we were up, I think it was me, him and Kev were up the Gildan Bank for a drink one night, and I remember we were sat outside, it must have been in the summer, it was quite a nice evening, and Neil saying to me, because I was starting watching it at that point, and he was like, "I'm actually jealous that you get to go through it for the first time." He's like, "I miss that because it's such a great show," which I totally agree.
Yeah, I think you'd love the music in it. Stranger Things is quite funny because it did have one bad season, and that was the second season. And it's not terrible. It's just it's a harder watch than the others. But season 1, season 3, and season 4 are really, really good.
Well, I know it had a Kate Bush song, which obviously I'm already a big fan of hers. So.
Yeah, it went viral for months.
Went to number 1 for the first time ever.
And you understand
Shocking that it never did when it came out, but anyway, that's
The
the
way
just the
that-
fan talking.
the way they use it, you understand it, but why it did so well.
Right.
But I do think, I think the fact that it's not out till the end of the year, I think you should definitely go back and watch it, and you can tell everyone what your thoughts are as you're going through it on the podcast.
I'll say I will, but you know I'm no.
I will. The amount of time that you are looking for something, just decide I'm going to watch Stranger Things.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, I've just started Red Dwarf again, because I didn't realise actually until today, which is why I stuck it on, that all the seasons are on the iPlayer. I thought they would only have the ones that were broadcast on the BBC, but they've got the ones that were on Dave as well, the newer ones. So yeah, that's why I started Red Dwarf again. Because I think I mentioned it before, Stu got me that journal, the TV and film journal, and I've put a few shows in. I've watched a few shows so far and rewatched mostly. The only new one I think has been Scrubs.
Yeah.
But I done obviously Lost first because it's the greatest show ever.
Which is coming back, Scrubs is.
Yeah, I know, but it's already in the journal, so it's done.
It's done.
But I done Friends and Still Game and Game of Thrones and what else have I done so far? Obviously, I did How I Met Your Mother and Big Bang Theory and stuff as well. But yeah, I've started Red. I did actually start watching Alan Bale again the other week.
Alright, okay.
Because Mum and Sam got me for Christmas a few years ago the complete series on DVD. But I only watched the first couple of episodes and then I was out of my rhythm. So I'll get back to that at some point, but I'm definitely on Red Dwarf now as well.
Okay. I was actually sitting there thinking, one of the shows that I've now added to my list, and I'm hoping to get to it soon, is Mobland. I'm hearing really good things about that. It's got Tom Hardy and Pierce Brosnan and everything in it from Guy Ritchie. So apparently it's not too long. It's only 6 episodes or something. So,
right.
But apparently it's amazing. It's got Helen Mirren and everything in it too.
Well, it must be good then.
Yeah. No, everything I've heard, everything that I've seen so far, I'm I think probably before the wedding I will have watched Mobland, and I will definitely talk about it on the podcast.
Helen Mirren's another one that I never thought actually, because we've had the discussion many times about actors who you've never seen a bad film of theirs. Helen Mirren's definitely in that. I've never seen a bad film that she's been in.
Yeah, that's true. I think as well, it's actually worthwhile addressing right now is that in terms of recording the podcast, we normally record the beginning of the month. This time we're doing it the second week of the month because we'd re-recorded the episode just a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
But we'll be back to business.
And also it worked well because I'm on holiday tomorrow and Tuesday as well, so I've got time to edit it.
But in July we'll be back to the first week. First Sunday.
I should imagine we will, because I think the second Sunday is when me and Mum are in London.
And then August we'll be back to the first Sunday. But it'll be the last Sunday of August we film the September episode.
Yeah, because of the reasons.
The reasons, yeah.
Yeah.
So we're all good. It's going to be 2 episodes we do in August. At the beginning and the end. Which will be fun.
Aye.
And then you'll put that, we'll both put that episode out in September.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it'll be in the lead up to Christmas and
I know.
Boxing and weddings and everything else after that.
Yeah.
So, we'll see.
In Amsterdam, me and Mum are going to Amsterdam and
London.
We're thinking about September.
Oh, really?
Because we were thinking about going back to...
You got any money left?
No. We were thinking about going back to Paris, as we did last year. But we're going to Amsterdam because, A, we found out that Snoop Dogg's got a cafe out there.
Nice.
And obviously we love Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
And B, Gemma just lives half an hour away in The Hague, so that's another reason to go to Amsterdam. So, yeah.
Nice.
2 very great reasons.
Yeah, I was going to say good reasons to go. But I was going to say in terms of football, obviously it's all over now, we're into that.
Well, the the Nations League final is on right now. It's on down there. When I was nipping out for a smoke there, I seen it was about 5-6 minutes in or something.
What do you think of my beloved Rangers and the takeover? I'm very disappointed in the manager that they've recruited. But I get it's Scottish football.
Yeah, I've seen that there's been a bit of disappointment on that front from fans like yourself. But, I mean, he's obviously a decent manager.
Is he?
Well, he got Southampton up. I'm sure he's had another promotions, you know.
Can I be honest? I think that it's a great thing that's happened. The takeover. I think there's.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But I think that the owners are being quite realistic in the sense it's Scottish football. That they could put the most mediocre manager in the Championship from England in, and he could still win the league. It's in that they don't need to spend even fucking Wrexham money because it's the Scottish Premier League.
Yeah.
Is that they can have all the glory at a cost, at a much lesser cost. And I think they're realising is we don't need to bring the big names in because we don't need a big named manager because
I think that's where a lot of the disappointments come from.
Yes.
Because obviously the rumours were all about
all these big
Ancelotti
names.
and Modric was going to. In fact, I've seen something on Facebook last night. It was obviously somebody taking the mickey, but it was Modric. I'm guessing he's been unveiled as a AC Milan player.
Yeah.
Because he was in a AC Milan shirt, and somebody had posted like, "Say what you want about them, but the new Rangers away kit is banging." And obviously it was because there was a lot of rumours that Modric was going to come, and I thought that was quite funny.
I think it's funny in the sense as well that people thought maybe Gerrard was coming back, and they've just not gone with a name. And you know, there was all the talk about Vardy coming up and everything, and you're laughing.
That still might happen.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think they're looking at this as a business, and this business is right, cost effective. Bring in the players that we know are going to be.
That's probably what you need, a bit of stability.
Yeah,
rather than
can't argue with that.
Chopping and changing. Obviously, United could do with some as well, but rather than chopping and changing all the time, just that bit of stability. Because let's be honest, you're always going to finish at least top two.
The way the league
pretty much regardless of whatever you do.
Yeah.
So it's always going to be using Celtic in the top two in whatever order. So it's I think if you get a bit of stability and perhaps lasts for a decent amount of time rather than chopping and changing in a year or two's time when they've maybe won the league the next couple of years or whatever. If there's a bit of stability and you're building towards it, then you could be competitive again.
I think they're moneyballing us. Have you ever watched the Brad Pitt movie Moneyball?
I have not.
You should. That's an Andy movie. You should watch that. I think they're doing the math on it, and they're figuring it. Like they're looking at where they can.
And it's Brad Pitt, another actor whose films I've never seen a bad one of.
Yeah, but yeah, I think essentially that's what they're doing. They're not looking for the big names. They're looking for the players that they can get at a good cost that are going to basically get them what they want.
Yeah,
and they're not really caring about the Vardys and things like that. I think that's proven by who they've brought in as manager, which again isn't a bad thing, as we've talked about. It's a realistic manager we've brought in. It's just I think the disappointment was there was all these big names kicking about, and because you're seeing this massive company essentially take us over, you're expecting big names to follow, and that's just I think we're going to run this business and they're going to make a profit. They're going to, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens between now and the start of the league for my team. But I'm hoping that your team, Man United, are obviously going to have a good summer.
Well, fingers crossed. We seem to have already got Cunha.
Yeah,
from
who was a big target.
I don't know if it's proper finalised yet.
I think it is. Yeah.
There's a lot of talk about Brian Mbeumo from Brentford.
How do you feel about that?
He's a good player.
But do you think that 5 years ago he'd be a Man United player?
5 years ago we were shit as well, so yeah, probably.
Okay.
I'm not saying he's a bad player, by the way, but
no,
like,
but
I know what you're inferring, that we're not getting in the
class that you used to
huge
get.
Names, but
not even the huge names, just the class of player that you used to have.
Well, only time will tell. I mean, if Cunha and Mbeumo come in and start playing like the New York and Cole, then yeah.
Oh yeah, of course.
I'd be obviously very happy with that. But only time will tell, and I get what you mean. Certainly the prestige, if you like, of United has diminished in the last 9 years since Ferguson retired.
That's 9
and
years.
Of course what did we finish? 15th.
Yes.
That was unthinkable 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, under Ferguson, we never finished lower than, I think, third, if I'm right in saying.
Probably,
then,
but you would know that better than me. Aye.
Yeah, as soon as he left, we've been up and down, and of course, this season's been the worst since, I think the season we got relegated in the 70s or something, 73, 74, I think I read. But, yeah, 15th. It's no European football, because obviously, as we touched on in the last episode, which we recorded a couple of days after the Europa League final, Spurs beat us in that.
And Ange got sacked.
Yeah, he got turfed yesterday, didn't he?
10 million that's cost him.
Really?
That's what was left in his contract. And then they spent 10 million to get, what's his name? Forgot his name, who they fired. So they just spent 20 million to get rid of their manager that got them their first European trophy in 18 years, you told me.
Well, first European trophy in I think about 40.
Oh really?
It was their first actual trophy in
80,
about 17 years.
Aye.
Because I think they won the League Cup in 2008.
Right.
And that was their last trophy.
It's amazing.
And of course he's now delivered
and
a
they sacked him.
European trophy, and that's him at the door, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to struggle.
Oh no, I think he'll... Well, as we touched on in the last episode, as he said, he always wins something in his second season.
Yeah.
And I'm sure people will be
Lining
wanting
up.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of wish Rangers had held off for a little bit.
I don't think he'd have went there, having been across the city before.
Yeah, and he's very loyal to them as well. He says,
Is he?
Yeah, he actually said he still watches them play and he keeps an eye on how they're doing. So,
nice.
Brendan Rodgers watch it.
I think he's all right. To be fair,
I don't think Ange would take that step back. I think Ange is going to be looking to take a step forward. To be fair,
yeah, you would think so.
The Man U job might be up soon though, so and you might need a trophy in the second season.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. We've not exactly struggled in terms of winning trophies. It's just your bread and butter, your league that we've been
Shiting.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, obviously, I think Ole got us to second, and Mourinho did as well. But that's been the highest since Fergie retired. Funnily enough, I was watching yesterday one of it was like Premier League Classic games or something on Sky Sports, and it was the United City. It was the derby in 2009.
Right.
The 4-3 game where Michael Owen scored in the last minute.
Right.
I was watching the highlights of that yesterday. Always a very happy memory. I was actually working. I was in Asda because I'd come back up to London in 2009. I was working at Asda, and I remember I was working that day when the game was on, and somebody had come in. I think it was maybe Mikey. Had come into the shop, and I was like, "Oh, how did we do? How did the derby go?" And he was like, "Oh, he's got beat." Fuck off. And he was like, yeah, no, Michael Owen scored the win in the last minute. I'm like, oh, nice.
Speaking of derbies, I kind of came out my little retirement this weekend for a specific derby.
The derby.
The derby, yeah. Don't normally get involved in flats, and everyone kind of, the thing of this is
It's more of a heels man.
I am. But I stopped the horse racing at that sort of end of May, June time, and I will have a little flutter here or there, but obviously the derby was on this weekend and came out for just that. Didn't place anything extravagant. You're talking sort of £10-15. It was little £1 bets, little accumulators, and sent you a message, didn't I? Because I had a 50p each way bet on, and it was like an eightfold. Next thing I knew, they were all winning or placing, and a little 50p turned into £88.
Yeah.
And my little TriCast that I had on for the American Triple Crown, it's suddenly doing very well as well. So it was a very, very very good weekend. What's funny is I sat in the same pub on the Thursday night and told Bill and Eddie, you want to do this. This is what you want to do.
Yeah.
So, but I hadn't told anyone else at that point. It was again because I'll be very honest. I do not trust myself when it comes to flat racing. I don't know it well enough. It's a completely different analysis you've got to go through when you're analysing a flat race to a chase or a jumps race that I do from March to the end of May. So, yeah, but it was a good weekend.
And it was run at a course that I know well because obviously the derby's at Epsom, and there's a lovely restaurant at the racecourse called the Ribbon House.
Oh, nice.
And Dad and Angela know the guy that owns it, Zach, lovely guy. And we used to go there for dinner quite often.
Nice.
In fact, the last time I was there, I'm sure it was Stacey's birthday. Because I remember going outside and ringing him to wish him happy birthday while I was down there.
Nice. So, do you know something? We were talking about this briefly earlier. Obviously, I'm going to go to the Grand National. Have we told people about your best man gift?
I don't believe so. I think we sorted that after the last episode.
All right. Okay. So, do you want to tell them, or should we keep that till later?
It's your gift. You might as well be the one to announce it.
You've been gifted, so it's up to you.
But not just me.
That's true.
Obviously, you don't have just one best man because you're greedy.
It's true. It's true. So, myself and the best men, obviously, Brian and I will be at Aintree on the 11th of April next year.
Mm-hmm.
And on the 18th of April, Andy, Brian, me and Paul will all be in Ayr for the Scottish Grand National, where we will enjoy a day, me and my best men, all together.
Yeah.
We'll see the parade and the kilts and the bagpipes and everything, the arrows flying over.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Did you not watch the video I sent you of like?
Probably not. I tend not to.
All the.
When you were talking about that race video that you sent me earlier on, like I'd watched it, I hadn't.
Yeah, but yeah, that's what me and the boys are doing. As that's a gift, and I think it's pretty thing to talk about. That was I obviously spoke to you guys. Like I didn't want to give. I wanted to speak to them because if they wanted a more traditional gift like a flask or cufflinks or something, then I was happy to do that. But I kind of felt like I wanted to give you that option because I feel like, as traditional as that is, it may not have been the right thing for you guys. And then obviously I came up with a bunch of ideas. I pitched some of these, and then this is obviously what you guys agreed. And I cannot believe you all agreed to this because I was like, I thought that was an out there one. And I thought, nah, no way.
Well, to be fair, like I said, obviously I'm not a racing fan. I love horses; they're beautiful animals, but I'm not a racing fan. Never have been in any sort.
Yeah.
Whether it's people running, people driving, horses racing,
It's funny.
It's never appealed to me.
They're treated better than us.
Yeah. But it's the day out, and as you kind of mentioned, it's the making memories, and it's the fact that we could go for a day out with me, you, Brian, Paul. That's what I'm looking forward to. Whether it's racing, that's something I'm not really into. We're still getting a day out with the boys.
And it's a festival as well. Like I think a lot of people don't realise is that the races only last a few minutes, and they're like 30-40 minutes apart. Right? So you're not just standing around. Like there's all these other things going on, and when it finishes, there's like famous musicians there for like a concert and everything that goes all the way into the night and like to midnight basically. Like it's almost like buying a festival ticket where there's essentially 6 races, and that's it. As you've then got all these other things, and as Paul's like, he's got the food vendors and all the different types of food because it's a national. There's going to be the best of the best there. It's going to be a really, really fun day, I think. And I'm looking forward to that too.
It's going to be a great weekend.
Yes, and hopefully on the back of me and Brian winning something big at Aintree.
Fingers crossed. Yeah. Well, I'm going to, as I was saying to Stu on the phone last night, I'm going to take your advice for the national next year, as I didn't this year, regrettably. So hopefully we all go in there with a bit of winnings windows.
Here's my worry: I said this year, and especially when I was predicting a 33-1 this year, is at some point my luck's got to run out.
And it'll be the time that I finally take your advice.
What I would say is that I don't think you can go wrong with what I've told you already. Like, does that make sense?
Yeah.
I think there's some merit to that, but obviously we're far too way out to determine it.
Yeah.
I will. Do you want to know what? I know for a fact that I will not be that far away. Like, I'll get there, right? As I always have. It's just.
I'll maybe put a couple on to cover myself then.
No, I always give 3. I always give 3. What I give is my nap. I always give next best, and then I give in with a chance.
Right.
But it just so happens my nap's what's won every fucking time. So it's and then you've got, I think it was 2 years ago or 3 years ago, where Pauline just put all 3 on, and all fucking 3 of them placed or came in.
Oh really?
And somehow, because I only put my nap on, she ended up winning more money than me.
Nice.
So yeah, it'll be in the mix. Put it that way. It's just, will my nap be the number 1? We'll see. Do you know what? 10 months away. We'll worry about it then.
Yeah.
But there's already a spreadsheet built and it's already tracking. I've already got something for.
This is why we're friends.
Yeah. There's a one I've got for Cheltenham already, and that I'm convinced is going to win already. Like, there's going to be nothing come even close to it for Cheltenham. Not the Gold Cup, but a Supreme Novice.
Right.
And that's how far in advance the spreadsheet's done. Like, it's not something that's just
knocked up at the last minute.
Aye, it's done throughout the year. It tracks, it checks jockeys, it checks weights, it checks who was on it at that point. It checks the conditions they ran in, and then I make decisions. Then I go back and double check all my work. Like, I literally, Laura was talking about going on holiday the week before, and I'm like, are you kidding? Like that is the week where I'm on holiday, but I'm not going on holiday.
Yeah.
I am in analysis mode.
So does that mean I'm getting taken on holiday then?
Honestly,
must have been in again.
Maybe do me a favour. But no, initially we were talking about Flamingoland, but we were going to be coming back the day that me and B were leaving.
Right.
And I was like, well, can we maybe push it back a day and then come back the day before? But I think it's now going to be the following week that they're all going to go away. So
then you'll be coming back just before we go to air?
Yeah, pretty much.
Fair enough.
So yeah, it'll be.
That's broad, because you'll still get away, but obviously you'll be able to focus on.
You know what I would say is yesterday was really, really nice to do Derby. It definitely made me realise that I don't enjoy flats anywhere near as much as I enjoy watching a good chase and jump.
Yeah.
I think it's not that there was. I just feel like when I was sitting watching it, I was like, it's good, but I didn't. It's basically like, when you're a Man U fan and a Rangers fan and you're watching Rangers play or you're watching Man U play, it's like suddenly watching fucking Birmingham play. Like, you didn't feel as invested in it. Like, it's on.
Okay, yeah.
Do you get it? It's
yeah.
Like, you're like, alright, okay, it's nice to have it on and it's okay, but you don't feel, I'm not invested in flats like I am.
I would say a better analogy is like watching two teams you dislike play. Because if I was watching Birmingham play, obviously I spent a bit of time in Birmingham as a teenager and have a wee affinity for it. So I would still be like, I want them to win, depending on who they were playing, I suppose.
Yeah.
I think a better analogy would be watching two teams you hate play. So you really don't care. So it'd be like watching a Chelsea City game for me. Because I want them both to lose and I have no interest in who's winning.
Yeah, I mean, like, Laura was away yesterday. So it just kind of, it was alright. Do you know what? For me, it was all about the Belmont Stakes at the end of the night at midnight.
Yeah.
So it was fun. But yeah, that's it. I don't know if I'm going to do anything on the. I tell you a lie. I've already placed a £3 bet on the Ascot. £3 is what I've done, and it was on a horse that I predicted a while ago, and he'd had a really bad race and suddenly went to 16-1. So I thought, I'll put £3 on him. and then that's it. That's all I've got.
Is that the one that's in a couple of weeks?
Yes.
Is that the day? I think that's the day me and Mum are going to Dundee. 28th?
Yes. No. Week 20th. Weekend of the 20th.
Right. Okay.
So, yeah, I think he's on the Sunday, that race, and I can already tell you he's already dropped back down to 5-1.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. So my £3 going on at 16-1 was worth it. But yeah, I don't know if I'm going to put anything else on or do anything for the Ascot again because it's flats. I just my heart's not in it. Like, and I'm not. I'll be honest as well. I'm not really looking into the speed statistics or stamina on them. It's just a bit.
Ascot's another race course that I've not been to, but I've used to pass quite a bit because when I was wee, like really wee, like 5 or 6, my dad lived in Slough.
All right, okay.
And if we were going anywhere, we would often pass Ascot. And I remember him pointing out when I was wee. Because I'd obviously heard of it on the telly and stuff.
Yeah. Let's be honest, it's probably the nicest course of them all. Well, it's the Ascot. Like, let's be honest, it's where royalty go. It's
I suppose.
It's like, you know, it's like going to like the best stadium in the world. Like, I'm not going to say who I think that is because you'll get upset because but yeah, do you get what I mean? It's like in terms of places to go, I mean, you could go to the Grand National, which I'm going to, you can go to Perth and all these places, but if you, like, Ascot's quite easily
Polishes up nicely.
yes.
Fair enough. I'm going to have to ask now, what do you think is the best stadium in the world?
If you put me on the spot, I'd probably say Man City, man.
Really?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Well, not maybe in the UK I'd say Man City.
Yeah, I was.
In the world, I'd probably say it's probably Real Madrid or the new camp.
Well, I've been to the new camp. I've never been to the Bernabeu. I reckon Bayern Munich Stadium is lovely.
Really?
The Allianz Arena. I've never seen it, like obviously in person. I've never been to Germany, to be fair. But
have you not?
It looks lovely, and the new camp is lovely.
There's some beautiful football stadiums though.
I think the new camp, for me, it was different because obviously that's where United won the Champions League in '99, completed the treble, where my favourite player scored the winning goal.
Special place.
Yeah, very much so. So I really enjoyed that, and it had a different vibe for me. Funny enough, we were talking about at work. Not yesterday. I was at work yesterday, but on Friday, I think.
Saturday working.
Yeah. But I think we were talking about it on Friday. Stadiums, because Matt was saying he'd been to both Celtic Park and Ibrox. And he'd done the tours on the same day.
Oh really?
Yeah.
That's my boy.
And I was saying, I've been to Celtic Park and seen games play. Like Sam took me to a Celtic Bayern Munich game. I think they'd opened a new stand or something, and they were having a friendly to mark the opening of the new stand. So Sam took me to that like 25 years ago or something. And we've been back since. But I've never actually been in Ibrox. I've been outside it and had my picture taken. You know the metal gates that have like Rangers Football Club. Had my picture taken in front of that. We were doing like a limo tour of Glasgow. Because my mate Andy that I was at college with, we went to a 50 Cent and G-Unit gig in Glasgow. And then the day after, his mum had organised. He didn't know. And I had to, the hotel we were staying in, me, him and his mate Ewan. And I had to like keep going to the toilet and phoning his mum. And he was like, "You alright?" I was like, yeah, I'm absolutely fine. But I was actually liaising with his mum to find out where the limo was and stuff. And so the limo picked us up to the hotel, took us on a tour in Glasgow and stuff. And then we went and got a photo taken outside Ibrox, outside that day. I'm not sure why that was chosen, because like Andy himself was a Man City fan. He was from down in England and didn't have a Scottish team. Ewan had no interest in football, if I remember correctly. And obviously I'm a hippie, but it was nice. Obviously it's a beautiful stadium, so it was nice to be there and to get my photo taken outside it, but I've never actually been inside it.
In Fife we don't have very nice football stadiums at all, but we do have one thing in sport that's probably the best in the world: the Old Course.
True, yeah.
We can hold that up like best in the world.
Yeah.
As the golf season's upon us, and we will have a lot of celebrities and pro golfers coming to town shortly.
Has your dad not been up at that a few times?
My dad has worked there, a few times, yeah. But one thing here in Fife, we have the Old Course.
We do. And as I learned the other day, we also have the UK's oldest ice hockey team.
Oh,
I didn't realise the Flyers were the UK's oldest ice hockey team. I read a story yesterday or the other day that they've been taken over by a North American consortium or something, much like Rangers. But the headline was the UK's oldest ice hockey club gets taken over and stuff. So I read it and I was like, I didn't actually realise that Flyers were the UK's oldest.
But let's be honest though, that ice rink's looking a bit worn and torn.
Well, I've not been to it for years, but I remember going to a few games when we were in high school, and I remember you got to skate afterwards. It was me and Mum had went to a game. I think we were playing the Sheffield Steelers,
right?
And Harry and Danny Moyle were a couple of rows in front of us, and they'd kind of turned around. They were like, "Oh, after the game," because I think it was maybe my first one. They were like, "Oh, after the game, you actually get to go and skate on the rink. Are you up for it?" And I'd said, "Oh, can I?" Because I loved skating. I always loved skating. And she was like, "Aye, absolutely." So went and skated afterwards. And then I remember my gran and granddad took me and David, my cousin, up to, they took us to Perth Ice Rink, which obviously we've been to for Comic-Con.
Yeah.
And they took us to Dundee as well.
Yep.
And when we went to Dundee, I fell in love with the place. I thought it was a brilliant arena, and I found a puck which I've still got on one of my bookshelves. Actually, I say I found it. I think David found it, but he gave it to me because he knew I loved ice hockey a lot more than him. So he was like, "Here you go." Brilliant gift from my cousin. And so from then on, I took a bit more interest in the Stars as well as the Flyers.
Yeah.
So just purely because of the arena.
I had a friend when I lived in Dundee named Roy. He played for the Stars.
Oh really?
Yeah, he worked with me.
Nice.
So Graham and Roy. Graham passed away sadly about a year or two after I'd moved away from Dundee, and Roy played me, Graham and Roy, and basically Roy was a Stars. He played for the Stars.
Yeah.
He used to get us tickets and stuff if we wanted to go.
Nice.
So he was a really nice guy.
I remember looking into I think it was going to be for my 21st or something. I was looking into the cost of hiring a rink because I wanted to get us all playing a game of ice hockey, and obviously not many people had played hockey, so I reckoned that me and Leon would probably boss it because we played street hockey. But it was far too expensive.
I'm going to put this on this podcast. There is a weekend in October that Laura is away for the whole weekend. She's away to see a musical with her mum.
Right.
And they're staying overnight in Edinburgh and stuff. So I'm putting this down. I think me, you and little R should go to see a Flyers game that night.
Well, it'll be a bit late for her. Do they not go on till 10:30 or something?
I think it's 10 o'clock. It's a Saturday though.
True.
And
we should at least go skating. Because I 100% want to get back on the ice. It's been too long.
She'll be fine as well. There's kids that are a lot younger than her going to the Flyers games.
Aye.
Yeah. I think I'm putting this on this podcast now. Putting it on you.
Well, I'm game as long as we can go skating as well.
That's fine. You can go skating with little R. I am not being Bambi on ice.
Fair enough.
I have been skating. I used to skate when I was younger. I'd love to do it again, but I'm going to say that even at that point, I'm probably still going to be a few stone too heavy. That my fat ass isn't getting on that ice.
Fair enough. I'll go skating with the bear, and that's all good.
Yeah, that were good. Happy to watch, but I will not be going on that ice.
Has she skated before?
No.
No?
No. But I will definitely not end up being trending on TikTok and shit as I fall on my ass because some cunt filmed it. So that will not be happening.
I used to love it. I remember my gran and granddad, because obviously it was just me, but then we had Debbie, Laura, David and Heather, my cousins.
Yeah.
They used to kind of try and break it down a wee bit so they didn't have all 5 of us. So we would tend to have, like, me and David would go out, and then they would have, like, me and Debbie, Laura and Heather as well. I really got the good end of that bargain, to be fair. In fairness, I think sometimes they just took the girls, but whenever it was just going to be me and David, I always just said, want to go skating. That was my 100%, that's my answer. And we'd often, because they would often take us to Perth, we'd go swimming as well.
Ah, nice.
So, aye. But I loved skating. I loved being on the ice. And obviously, Mighty Ducks films were a big thing for me when I was wee. And then I did street hockey after. Me and Meehan used to play that a lot. And, yeah, just, I love skating. Funnily enough, I was talking the other day at work about a pitch that I'd made a good couple of years ago, that we should all just have rollerblades and skate at the office. It never flew.
I think there's a 80s movie called Rollerblade Boys or something like that with Corey Haim, and I'm pretty sure that's like everyone just skates everywhere.
Aye.
Yeah. So
I used to love just skating everywhere. I remember when Mikey lived in Cabbage Hall and just doing for Leslie, and I stayed in Woodside. I just rollerbladed up from Woodside up to his. Although I ended up, because there's a wee hill going down towards where his old house was, and I'd skated down the hill, I'd crossed the bridge, skated down the hill, went over, there was a wee speed bump, went over that, landed, I think I hit a stone when I landed, so I ended up skating down the ground. I got to Mikey's house, and his missus at the time was like, what the hell's happened to you? Because I had like blood all running down my arms and stuff, so she cleaned me up and got me alright. So
It's funny, it's just before we finish and move on to the next part, is there's like, I didn't know this, but one day I was finishing up work, and as I was getting to my car, one of the guys for the factory, I was running a little bit later, and I just saw him rollerblading up the hill.
Oh, really?
And I was like, hey, and then the next day I asked, and he basically rollerbladed into work and out, left, that's how he got in and out of work, he rollerbladed.
Nice.
And he, on top of that, showed me some of his footage. At the weekends he would go to like skate parks.
Aye.
And he filmed it, and he showed me a video of him falling on his arse. But I was like,
yeah.
But that's how he got in and out to work, was rollerblading.
I remember I've only ever been to an indoor skate park once. I went with Leon when he still stayed in Arbroath. I'd been up visiting, and we went to the skate park, and Leon is like 100 times the skater I'll ever be. And he was, you know how they have the half pipe? He was like climbing up to almost like a bit on the roof, almost. And then he was dropping down for there and going into the half pipe, whereas I was just about going in from the actual top of the half pipe. And I remember when he visited a few times, we went to the skate park up in Tans Hall.
Yeah.
And like he taught me a little bit. I could do wee bits, but like I would never be as good as him, to be fair. He was a great skater.
You never know.
Probably still is.
Never ever know.
He's got my blades, actually. I bought them off of him years ago, and he borrowed them a couple of years ago, but I've not seen them back. But to be fair, I probably wouldn't actually put them on again, so it's fine.
Hey guys, obviously we are filming the end of this. We just actually had to cut 20 odd minutes of conversation because...
Yeah. Again, we sounded like we were underwater.
Yeah, we're not entirely sure why that's happened, because we film it in 3 segments, and then we go back and we listen, and unfortunately the whole 20-minute segment we've just filmed is completely unusable. What I'd say is there was some good stuff, but we think we're going to try and...
Yeah, we'll stick it in the next one.
Well, yeah, we'll go back over it next one, because no point in repeating ourselves.
Exactly. Let's do our recommendations and wrap it up. So, in terms of my song, like I mentioned, which sounded like we were underwater, as I went with Regina last time, I'm going to just continue the next 4 episodes with the rest of my top 5 artists. So this time I'm going to go with a 2-pack song called If My Homie Calls.
Nice. And as I say, I will definitely listen to that as I'm listening to the podcast.
And what's your film?
I am going with my little brother's favourite movie when we were younger, Backdraft. So Ron Howard movie, Kurt Russell, firefighters, to this day, still the best firefighter movie, hands down, in my opinion. If anyone disagrees with that, please tell me if there's a better firefighter movie. I'm happy to hear it. I think that anyone who is a Ron Howard fan, for me, he did Willow, but he also did the Da Vinci Code and things. Ron Howard's great. He did The Grinch.
Did he?
Yeah, he directed The Grinch.
Never seen that.
Have you not? No. How have you not seen The Grinch?
It was on when we were at Virgin. It was mine that had movie channels on in the background, but I never actually seen it.
Did we not do The Grinch at Virgin Media at the cinema? We did Elf.
We did Elf, yeah. We never done The Grinch.
Home Alone was the other one.
Was it?
I definitely I recommend going and watching Backdraft. I think it's something a little bit different, and on top of that I think it doesn't look dated now either, so you can watch it and still enjoy it.
Nice.
I think as well, just to kind of put out there, even though we've already done this part, we appreciate everyone for listening, we appreciate the feedback that we get. Thank you to Bill, thank you to Stuart, and thank you to all the other guys that keep listening to us.
Hell yeah. And we will see you in July.
Yeah.
See ya.